Hello everyone and welcome to this Privacy Rules webcast. Here is Alessandro Di Mattia, Legal and Executive Assistant at Privacy Rules, and today I'm joined by our colleagues from Israel that are Haim Ravia, that is Senior Partner and Chair of the Internet and Cyber and Copyright Group, and Dotan, that is Partner and also member of the Internet, Cyber and Copyright Group. I'm particularly pleased of their presence today also because Haim was with us in our last webinar on tracing up, given his expertise in technologies. And for this reason, I would like them to introduce a bit themselves. So, Haim, Dotan, I turn it over to you, and thank you for being with us.
Hello, it's a pleasure being here. So a few words about myself. I've been practicing law for almost 30 years now, 25 years are dedicated to the special topics surrounding technology, ranging from online agreements to delicate questions of copyright, virtual currencies, open source code, and of course, the many questions surrounding privacy.
And Dotan.
I've been practicing law for 8 years now. And before that, I was actually, I had a different career with some connection to what we're practicing now. I was a technology programmer and a technology project manager. And with my background in computer science, I then made that sort of shift to the legal practice with the focus on technology-driven issues such as privacy. And this is what I've been doing for the past 8 years with a strong passion for it. And I'm very pleased to be able to sort of bring out the connection between the technology world and the privacy world together into the legal aspects and counseling clients on this rather complicated arena, in our world.
Yeah, you touched a very relevant point, the combination between the tech side and the law side, and the kind of different background you have expressed exactly what Privacy Rules is looking at, because we really need to match those two different words in particular when we deal with privacy and technologies. Speaking a bit about Israel and so your country, the country in which you work, which is your data protection and cybersecurity regime in this moment?
To put it shortly, privacy is a constitutional right under Israeli law. It's enshrined in the basic law of human rights and dignity. There's also a particular law covering privacy. It's the Privacy Protection Law of 1981. Israel was one of the first countries in the world to enact a law protecting privacy. And there are particular laws covering issues such as patients' rights, processing of genetic data, credit data, etc., all also pertaining to privacy.
Is there anything you would like to add, Dotan, on the technology perspective?
A law dating back to 1981 had a very different perspective on technology than we do nowadays. So I guess as with any jurisdiction, but Israel is, I think, a key one in that respect, the law is having trouble keeping up with the advancement in technology because it really hasn't been updated for quite some time, for more than a decade. And it dates back to 1981. So we find ourselves within the Israeli privacy landscape, trying to match the outdated type of law that we have together with the new questions that only arise in our advanced part of our technology. And this is a challenge. This is a significant challenge, and we're all struggling with it, especially clients, and we are helping them to cope with these very fascinating but sometimes incredibly complicated nuances.
Thank you, Dotan and Haim. And yes, speaking about this practical part of your everyday activity, I was wondering if you would like to share with us, any which are the main practical issues that you face during your everyday activities in relation, of course, to these sectors?
The Israeli privacy protection law covers databases of personal information. And since it's outdated, databases should be registered with the Israeli Registrar of Databases. But about 2 years ago, in 2018, just before the GDPR became effective in Europe, new regulations were issued by virtue of the privacy protection law, and these regulations cover data protection. Now, according to our experience, it's a good advice for international companies coming to Israel to first deal with the data protection issues and make sure that they obey with the new regulations, and only afterwards turn to registering the database with the registrar. Dotan, would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so the new regulations around data security from 2018 in Israel, they are rather a major step forward in terms of updating that aspect of the law. And they're very prescriptive in what they require companies to meet in terms of data security requirements. So that those regulations, they span a number of sections across various types of organizational security measures and technological security measures, policies and procedures. And at the same time, these regulations, they are set up in a way that is supposed to be tiered or commensurate with the complexity and the degree of potential issues in terms of the database in question. So it's supposed to be, these regulations are supposed to be directed toward companies in a way that is tailored to the scope that these companies are doing business. And for these reasons, we do advise companies to first get their ducks in a row in terms of data security measures, and only then turn to the formality, which is basically what it is. It's a formality of registering a database, and that's why we recommend doing this in that sequence.
That's truly very interesting. Thank you, Dotan. And yes, basically that's something that we are used to hear when we speak also with your colleagues, that prevent is always the best way to approach privacy, data protection, and technologies. So be prepared before to start the business publicly is always the best approach. Do you have any specific advice you would like to give to any business interested to start on that is already in Israel?
Well, come to Israel. It's a vibrant market with people willing to adopt technology. We've been exporting breakthrough technologies to the world, ranging from the first messenger service, the ICQ, for those of you who remember, to elaborate and sophisticated cyber protection technologies, etc., etc. You will find it a good place to do business in.
It's interesting to see how it's developing is a co-regulation there. Dotan, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, maybe just a general saying that there aren't really roadblocks for companies desiring to do business in Israel. They're just issues to consider and matters that can certainly be dealt with, but don't think of entering the Israeli market as running into roadblocks.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Dotan and Haim. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you for your presentation. I invite all our audience to contact you if they have a business in Israel and they need any kind of help, since Pearl Cohen is a firm full of experts that are there to provide food services, in particular dealing with those sectors. And I hope to see you and speak with you again very, very soon.